Hey folks, Rob Daniels here for the movie, TV, and video game soundtrack program Visions in Sound. I can be found 12 to 2 a.m. every Saturday morning on Mix 98.5. And if you miss a show, which, hey, does happen from time to time, you can also find me on visionsinsound.ca. Well, you know what? I thought about this, and the more I think about it, it's now just beyond. It's 25 years beyond. I'm not going to start putting weeks on this because it's just kind of silly. But, just for sake of argument, this is week 3. So just to let you know. So this week, I've alluded to this one for a little while, but haven't really. Like I said, I alluded to this one, or at least I played a bit of it during my recommendation video, and that's been a while. And I want to do another one of those. So if you're interested in another recommendation video, I won't do like 52 like I did in that one. I'll do something more reasonable, like 30 or something like that. In any case. This week, I'm going to be talking about the 2017 film, What Happened to Monday. Yeah, this one was a Netflix exclusive that came out in 2017. Kind of a dystopian kind of future where it comes down to overpopulation has caused the world to decree only one child per family. And so and then something happens. Oh, by the way, this film is also known as Seven Sisters, but we'll get to that in just a second. So the thing about this is that it's set in like this dystopian future, and what happens is there is this septuplets are born, and their mother dies, and their grandfather, who is played by Willem Dafoe, takes over and names them each for the days of the week. So each day of the week that corresponds with their name, they can go out during that day. And it works for years, and then, well, things happen. I don't want to ruin it for those that haven't seen it, but trust me, it's pretty strange. And then when certain days of the week start being eliminated, it's not fun. So there's that. But one of the things that really struck me and you know what? I'll admit it here. I have not seen the film. I have yet to see it. I've seen lots of clips. But it's so hard to track down if you do not have Netflix. So there's that. I don't have Netflix at this point. I gave up Netflix when they did the whole you can't share your password anymore. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. So yes. So this week's composer for What Happened to Monday is Christian Wiebe. I would not have pronounced his name that way, but Christian Wiebe. This is some really cool stuff. I have to admit, this kind of hit me out of nowhere. I was not expecting this particular soundtrack to suddenly just go boom, and I'm listening to it. But it's become a favorite of mine over the last little while, and I think it's probably one of the best underrated scores that came out in 2017. That's just my opinion. It's one of those things that, hey, it's my opinion, it's my show. So there's that. So have a listen to the opening track, at least this is what the opening track called, Friday Dies. So yeah, you can kind of see where things are going. It's not going to be the best of the entire world here. Yeah, I think that this score is quite good. It it hits all the elements for me, and it's one of those scores that just, like I said, I was not expecting it. I was not expecting for it to be this catchy and this good. Christian does a fantastic job on this, and it's kind of, like I said, it kind of hits you out of nowhere. Just have a listen to some more stuff. I do like the use of strings here. I have to admit, over the past little while, for a while I was like, some of the stuff is like percussion, but for me, a good string section can really bring out a score. And when the strings and the woodwinds and everything hits just right, you can have an amazing, fantastic score. And essentially, that's what this is all about. What the show is all about is to get you to listen to some fantastic stuff, some great stuff, and composers that you wouldn't necessarily know. So yeah, this composer, Christian Wiebe, just he I haven't heard of him before, and I haven't heard of him since. So it's kind of disappointing that he only worked on this, at least on this one score that has become a real major favorite for me. So just have a listen to some more stuff. This is really good. So yeah, that's this week. Christian Weeba's What Happened to Monday. Fantastic stuff. So if you're interested in any of the film, television, or video game music that I play on my show, you can tune in every week, 12 to 2 a.m. on Mix 98.5. And if you're so inclined or you missed the show, you can head on down to the website, visionsinsound.ca. I'm also on Blue Sky these days, at visionsinsound.bsky.social. I can be found on GoodPods, a downloadable app for your phone or other type devices. And I can also be found on many other podcatchers out there, including the likes of Apple Music. One of the things I forgot to say is like, share, and subscribe. Yes, I have passed my 100 subscribers. You have heard the story of the wonderful John Frizzell. I have other stories, and you know what? If I reach 200 subscribers, there will be yet another story that I will partake to you. I'm deciding as to which one I want to tell, but as I get closer to 200, which I'm only at 111 right now, at least as of this video, so there's that. So yeah, and I say what I'll usually say. I know times are tough out there. We do have craziness going on in the world, and with this whole idea of dystopian futures and Seven Sisters and what happened to Monday, could the world turn into that? God, I hope not. But in any case, if you're having trouble out there, then by all means, call 911 for immediate help if you need it. Also, text or dial 988 for the Suicide Crisis Helpline. You can also try 1-844-HERE-247 or HERE247.ca. They all offer ways of getting help if you or someone you know may be suffering from mental health issues. So yeah, get out there. Check out some unusual, fantastic scores, but also don't discount composers that you haven't heard of. Christian Wiebe is one of those composers. And if you can find his score, by all means, check it out. I first got it in the mail, in my email, got sent to me. It was one of those scores that I kind of ignored for a while, and then suddenly, what is this? This is pretty cool. So yeah, don't discount, don't just slough things aside and say, it's not a well-known composer, it's not going to be very good. You'll never know what you'll find. You might be surprised. So with that in mind, have yourself a great day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
For 3 decades, the Child Allocation Bureau has combated catastrophic overpopulation.
This sibling will be processed under authority of the Child Allocation Act.
To build a sustainable future full of hope and possibility.
How do you plan on hiding this?
Starting tomorrow, you will each get to go outside on the day of the week that is your name. Sunday will get to go outside on Sunday, Monday on Monday, Tuesday on Tuesday, and so on. You will all take on the singular identity of Karen Sedman.
Karen, do you have any siblings?
No.
7 siblings surviving to adulthood. It would destroy my credibility.
Miss Setman, step into the van, please.
Monday's not showing up on the grid. Gotta go out there.
Where am I going?
Run. The trash will soften the impact.
It's empty.
Sorry.
What are you waiting for? Go get her!
What happens to one of you happens to you all.